Hello, everybody. It's amazing to be a part of this and to be here with all of you and just to feel what's already been happening. This is this is sort of an oasis of uh, a place where these emotions that are happening can become power. So I'm appreciative of being here. And um, song that we're going to share today comes from sort of, I think, a year and a half after we were sort of called into this work. So we were first called into this work by a mentor of ours, Dr. Vincent Harding, who was always asking us, kind of as performers, as people who did music as part of our career, he would say, "Where are the songs for today's movements?" And he asked us this in a way that we knew the question was not, what new songs have you been working on? What's on your album? What are the MP3s that you're selling right now?
Yeah.
But the question was, what are you all doing? How are you using your craft to actually contribute to the movements happening, locally, nationally, internationally? And Dr. Harding passed away in May of 2014, and the day that he passed away, we were connecting with other people who he knew and realized it was past time that we joined. All of you all have been doing this work for so long. So we began just gathering people weekly, monthly, daily, and saying, what songs can we sing together? What are the words we already have? How do we change them to match what's happening in the streets? What are the actions coming up? What words are needed? And kind of came at it as a room full of amateurs, but knowing that we had a whole knowing how much history was behind us and behind what everyone was bringing in with them. And the song that I think you all will hear in a few moments here, was about a year and a half later, August 2015, commemoration of the murder of Mike Brown. There was a march planned, and I think of this march as one of the first times that we saw the full range of emotions that can happen in a single action. This action began defiantly. It was people were marching, and we had one piece of artillery, which was the saxophone. Everything else was the human voice, and a lot of the chants were the chants that have been happening nationally. But by the time we made it to our destination, which was the city hall, this was both commemorating the death of Mike Brown, but also all of the other folks who had died of police violence throughout the city of Denver in the last previous years, the names that had been forgotten had been newly lifted up through Black Lives Matter. And so it was a time to say people's names. And so the song was very simple. It was "We Remember You." And it truly, um, the somberness was sort of fully embodied. And then I remember as we walked back, continuing to sing the song, as people were lifting up names, um, by the time we returned to the destination, somehow the transformation had gone from this deep grief to more of a sense of empowerment to actually this sort of a collective joy at the power of people assembled that day. And I'll hand it off to Stefan, who was there that day as well and part of this entire effort. But and then in a second, we'll hear that this song has continued to be sung feels like a deep honor.
Yeah, and everything that just total agreement with everything that Jamie said, everything that y'all have said. Really honored to be here. Um, but it feels like a divine act of resistance to not allow anybody to be erased. Um, and so the words are incredibly simple, but the sentiment is empire toppling. Um, if we keep those people with us, then their losses are not truly losses. Their stories are now mandates for us to change the situation that took them from us in the physical. Um, and yeah, it just felt as though in this grief, how do we remember? How do we summon our elders back with us? How do we summon the young ones who were taken too soon? Any of those things. How it is up to us who we bring with us into our future. So also, this song felt like an act of beautiful resistance of creating a world where these people are still with us and we're still carrying the work that they've left us to complete. Um, and yeah, so we are once again really honored this song is being sung. And I think that we're actually going to be showing a video of it because the song is so simple. It's actually best relayed, I think, in a video form about how it works in layers as people are singing it.
Thank you both so much for your work, for always being here for movement, and of course for this song. We're going to show a brief video that comes from a action that was had last week, another pray-in that was held during the week of action for the U.S. campaign for Palestinian rights. And there were 8 different actions that were taking place in Congress at the same time. And I happened to be a part of a spoke, or a team of folks that went to Senator Warnock's office of Georgia. And we had a team made up of folks from the Adala Justice Project, from Harriet's Wildest Dreams, from the Dream Defenders, and for Jewish Voice for Peace. And Senator Warnock's office, his team, refused to meet with us. They actually locked the doors. And something that Sandra Tamari of the Adala Justice Project has been wanting us to be very intentional about is to remind people that these are lives that are being lost, real people, not just numbers. And so has asked us that in our actions that we share the names and read the names of those who have been killed, especially the children. There's so many children who have been killed in this onslaught of Gaza. And so while reading the names of the people that we have lost, we shared your song, We Remember You. And so I'll just play a short video. And so as you could see, it was folks coming out of their offices, people who didn't lock their doors, who weren't afraid to speak with people, who came out of their office. And it was really an invitation, I think, for folks to remember those who have been victims of this onslaught. And so thank you all again.